This dates me a bit, but my favorite pro wrestler as a boy was a guy named Vern Gagne. He was a good guy back when wrestling had good guys and bad guys. To be honest, he looked pretty silly. He was this aging, bald guy, pretty overweight in these little black jockey shorts. But he was a good guy, and he beat the tar out of the bad guys like Killer Kowalski and Kinji Shibuya. Wrestling was simple then. These days, it's not. These days, it is still watched by young boys, but also by aging stock analysts. The storylines aren't simple good versus evil anymore. Like the culture itself, wrestling has gone crude, really crude. Gorgeous George seems like Mary Poppins these days. And something else has changed as well. What was the big deal on cable TV 5 years ago has been pinned to the mat.
The masked marvel from Montana steps into the ring and...
In its first heyday, and there have been many, pro wrestling was simply outrageous. Fake, but outrageous. Gorgeous George may have been over the top for his time, but today he couldn't get a spot on the show, let alone the main event. These days, the WWE, as it's known, is struggling. So its co-creator and chairman, Vince McMahon, has invoked yet again one of wrestling's most reliable rules. When the going gets tough, the tough get really rushed. Father and son wrestling moguls fight each other. That's pain. A lesbian storyline, more 21st century, and a gay marriage fits right in.
I want you to be my partner for life.
Homophobia, it seems, is the road to wrestling salvation.
Vince has a history of going over the line, especially with homophobia. When he went public, his company wound up being, I think, a lot more responsive to the family values audience because he felt a little bit more sensitive to the demands of Wall Street and putting on a conventional public image. The problem is that now that his ratings have gone down again, he's backslid and he's back to his old tricks.
The WWE went public 3 years ago. At its peak, 6 million people a week tuned in, the #1 program on cable television.
It was a company that was growing by leaps and bounds, really no end in sight to how far this thing could grow.
In the go-go 90s, when the company went public, the stock nearly doubled in its first week.
I think we got caught up in a good market, but also we were out there telling our story to more and more and more people, giving them an understanding of exactly what our company was about.
Which may explain the problems of today. Revenue down $31 million. TV ratings down. Only pay-per-view, a huge moneymaker to be sure, continues to perform well. But the entire production that is wrestling is suffering from a lack of imagination and a lack of stars.
We're a business that is driven by stars involved in stimulating storylines. One without the other just doesn't work.
And the whole world shakes at my feet.
It is easier to write a storyline than find a star. Hence, the storylines, never exactly G-rated, are now tilting toward XXX. And Vince McMahon doesn't seem like the genius he was just 5 years ago.
Is he desperate? Yes. Does he have a plan to fix it? Not that's been evident yet. Are these things that have been working in the past working now? Strangely not.
The pressure is on, and even the little guys of the sport feel it. Okay, perhaps little guy is not the best way to describe Kane, 7 feet tall, 326 pounds.
I feel a ton of pressure. Not that's put on me externally, because I've been here when times have been, you know, just absolutely tremendous. I want to get back there.
We did edgy stuff when we were on top. People criticized us as being shock television. When we do edgier stuff and our numbers are down a little, they criticize us for wanting to shock people into watching the show back. This is what we've always done.
Double team and attack Jesse the Bobby.
For as long as there has been TV, there has been pro wrestling. It's been pronounced dead many times over. Each time it emerged again bigger and, dare we say, sleazier than before. And it may again. But today the sleaze isn't working and the magic is gone, and it's investors who feel as if they've been drop kicked. in the wallet.